Hey y'all, welcome to LoveLoudd's Truth Carpet episode 3 of season 1. I am Yaya, better known as Chiquita Banana.
Yo, who calls you Chiquita Banana? Like, I don't call you Chiquita Banana. Who is calling you Chiquita Banana anywhere?
I want you to call me Chiquita Banana.
Not calling you Chiquita Banana.
Okay, maybe on Tuesday. But I'm here with my best friend.
Mo to the E to the Simone Loud Jaw. I've been binge watching Moesha, so I'm like, everything is Mo to the E to the. Okay.
The funny thing is, I forgot that was going to come on. So when I text you that yesterday, I was like, okay, Moni, Mo to the. And you was like, that's funny. I'm watching it right now. I was like, oh, snap. I forgot it was coming on Netflix. But
Yes. Shout
how's
out
it?
to Netflix.
Yeah, shout out to them for putting all the good shows on Netflix. I mean, we've been asking for it for a while, so they heard the people, and here it is. I'm gonna try to watch that this week, though.
Yes, you should. So we could chit chat about it. I've been enjoying it very, very much.
So aside from enjoying Netflix and the old '90s shows, how are you feeling today?
Girl, I'm tired. Girl,
As you rub your eyes.
I'm on the West Coast. I had to get up early for this today to make sure that we got it in and that
Yes.
everybody be able to hear Truth Carpet so I can edit this thing. You feel me? So
So it's 11:45 right now for me. What time is it for you?
8:45. I know for
Ooh,
some
baby.
that's not early, but I got up at 7, so that's early for me on the weekend.
And to be on this podcast right now. We appreciate
Right.
you, girl. We appreciate you.
Hey, but I got my coffees. Hey, hey, that wake me up. So I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I'm fired up, wired up. Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right, so we're gonna start off with our show rundown. Moni, I'm gonna let you do the honors because I'll mess it up if I try.
All right, let's see what I can do here. Today's show rundown. We'll be starting off with our dorm stories per usual. Today we will be talking about dating while in college. Then we'll be jumping into the poetic suite where Yaya will be reciting Insight. Then we're going to jump into our hot topics. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are talking about the 5 love languages, what ours are, how it relates to our partner, what they really mean to us, what we have learned about them. And then we are going to break down those love languages and let you know how to use them in regards to your partner. And then last but not least, of course, we always end with announcements that you do not want to miss. So make sure you are tuned in all the way until the end so that you don't miss out.
All right, you ready to get into it?
Hey, you ain't got to ask me twice.
All right, Moni. So, what was going on for you in college? Were you single, dating? What was going on while you were in college?
Girl, unfortunately, I was.
Unfortunately, wow,
I
wow.
Girl, you already know I was in a long distance relationship throughout that entire matriculation. Like
Mm-hmm.
and it was on and off, so it wasn't even a consistent relationship throughout the entire 4 years. It was me and my high school sweetheart. He was all the way in California. I was in Atlanta, and it was one of the most difficult things that I ever had to deal with, especially with coming straight out of high school and understanding how to even navigate
Mm-hmm.
a relationship so far apart. I did not like it.
Dang. Yeah, and I'm just thinking about just me and you being friends and calling. I mean, I don't care whatever time you call me, but just like trying to navigate that relationship on 2 different coasts too. That's crazy. 3 hour difference.
And then just think about how when we first got to school, we were doing like our step practices and stuff. So it was a lot of times where
Mm.
I wasn't available. Like,
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of
girl,
that.
drama, not being available when somebody wants you to be available and
Or
just,
used to you being available all of the time too.
right, that part too. And not being able to see each other, trying to video chat when you can.
Ooh,
It was,
baby.
right. It was more stressful than it needed to be, honestly. But hey,
How old were you when you got to college?
I was 18.
Okay.
I was 18. So we started dating when I was 17. So by the time I graduated, we were still we were still together. But I think before I even got through freshman year, before I even got through both semesters, we had already broken up. Like, I need a break. This is too stressful. It was too stressful. I was like, I can't do it. Like, you stressing me out. You making everything was like times 100.
Hmm.
Like, in regards to like communication in our relationship, it was everything was an issue. So
Yeah.
yeah. So what about you, girl?
Well,
What was you doing?
I came to college single. I never had a boyfriend while I was in high school. So coming to college, that was the first quote unquote real boyfriend that I ever had. I met a friend on the step team. And our step team, we were really tight and we spent a lot of time together and
We
getting to
sure
know each
did.
other. So one spring break while we were having our little party or whatever, I remember one of the boys was in my face. It was like, oh, who you got a crush on? And I told him who it was, and that just made a big deal. Like everyone was like, oh, she likes such and such, she likes such and such. So when such and such came back from home in spring break, everybody let it know, and we became closer. But I started to like him because I felt like I can be open with him and talk to him about everything. And then some things that other guys at the school, meaning like from our clique, didn't understand about me, he understood it, he grasped it, he was always there. So that attracted me to him, and we started dating our sophomore year in college. So pretty much throughout the whole matriculation, we were together. We had two breakups, on and off or whatever, but yeah, until he broke his leg, we were together pretty much.
I remembered it.
Yeah,
I
you
was,
were like triangulated into our relationship.
I was about to yell all the time.
Yeah. Oh my god. Open the door, guys. Let me in. What we watching? I was like, Simone, this is supposed to be me and his turn. And he was like, come on, Moni, come on, Moni. Like, oh my god, this is not polygamy, bro. It's like my boyfriend.
Don't worry, y'all. I had no interest at all.
I know, but it was just funny. Just jumping in bed. Not like cuddling with us, but she'll be in the room with us,
I
hanging
definitely
out with
would.
us. Oh my god. So you pretty much already shared the ups and downs of being in a long distance relationship and being far away. You talked about a little bit about how it was hard with the time lapse. Do you feel like there were other um, things that you despised about your relationship? Like, were there any other difficulties or things that you really loved about your long distance relationship? Because some people like being close, but some people like being far. So, how did you feel when you were having that LDR? Ooh, bars.
I think for me, it just mostly like just being young and naive. It was a lot of trust issues.
Okay.
And I think we didn't truly understand what we wanted at that time. Like, I felt like we were older in another part in time, like as adults now, like it would probably most definitely could work. But at that time and being in college and just wanting to have fun and understand, like, I should just be living my life right now. I don't need to be stressing out over no boy.
Wait, is that you as a like adult now saying these things, or did you think those things while you were in college?
I was thinking it while I was in college because I even had
Okay.
some conversation. I was like, yo, he is stressing me out. I was like, I need to be focusing on school. And I've always been super focused on like making sure that my schoolwork was maintained. So I was like,
Mhm.
I should most definitely be doing the same thing in college. And part of that was that he didn't understand, like, I mean, he understood that my education was important to me, hence why I went to college in the first place.
Mhm.
But he didn't even want me to go that far to the point where I even considered moving back home to go to a college closest to him. But once I found out it was going to take me an extra year to graduate, I was like, nah, I'm staying out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not about to compromise having to stay in school a lot longer. Plus, I really love my experience.
Mhm.
I had to go back to California. That would have just like changed my entire experience altogether. And I probably wouldn't have the connections and the friends that I do now. So I don't know. It was just stressful. Like, I would not recommend it. Like, y'all listen to me. You coming out of high school and going into college and you are in a relationship, I'm just saying consider, taking a break from each other and exploring other things. If y'all could do it, more power to you. I thought that I could do it. I definitely tried, but
Mhm.
it just came with too much stress. And then the worst part of it was when I got a call from a girl talking about how she was with, like, my boyfriend was her boyfriend, sending me
Mhm.
pictures, together, and like that was just nah.
Yeah, that
like
was definitely nah. I remember that situation. We talked
like
about that on our RG Live too.
yeah, my
That
first IG live we talked about that. So
girl.
that was the worst of it for me. That was like damn near the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, but even with you saying that he what'd you say? I'm sorry.
I would say damn near the tip of the iceberg because we ended up getting together again. So
Yeah.
definitely a back and forth for a long time.
Yeah. But like even with you saying he didn't want you to go far, like I see what he means. You know, if he had his relationship with you for at least a year before you left, y'all built this bond. It's kind of like a young love. I do this every episode saying things backwards. A young love situation where like, bro, like we in this relationship, like he probably was thinking, how could you leave me? Not emotionally, but like you're physically apart, and it's going to be hard. And it ended up for you being hard, but I don't know. That's I always wondered in my little dorm room, like how she doing this.
But as far as you, like you had some distance at one point. So how did you handle being away from your boo thing while we were on our breaks from school?
It was a headache at times. Like so, I live in Jersey, and my boo thing lived in the South, and he took it as when we're away from each other, I'm on break. Like he would literally tell me I'm on break whenever I'll say, you know, I called you earlier or whatever. So to me, it felt like when we're away from each other, not at school, then did you think that you were not in a relationship? Did you not have a girlfriend when you were back at home? Were you cheating? Like what's going on? So like those are the things that went on in my mind. Yes, I was happy to be home to see my family and hang out with some old friends and everything. But in my mind, if you're still my boyfriend, if I reach out to you, and not saying I was calling all day every day, but if I call you and you see that I call, like why would you let a day or some days go by before it hit me back? And then like a lot of times I felt like I was rushed off the phone. Like yeah, I get it. You're home. You want to enjoy your town and your family and everything too, but at least text me and let me know you're thinking about me. And I just felt like he didn't care for me when we were separated.
Like out of
So
sight, out of mind.
definitely out of sight, out of mind. Definitely. And that's all that's why like when I look back on things and how we ended up breaking up at all, I do believe it's out of sight, out of mind. Some people can do long distance relationships, but for other people it's just not there for it. So for me, it's not there for me. Like it's not in the books for me to have a long distance relationship at all. And we'll talk about the why later on, you know, on a different segment. I'm not going to jump into it now. But for me, I definitely need my partner to be, if not in the same city, in the same state, somewhere nearby in a certain like perimeter areas.
That's crazy. I honestly feel like I could do it. Like as long as we video chat and we communicate on a consistent basis, like just text me. Like I'm good with like a funny meme and you just let me know you're thinking about me, sending gifts back and forth. So by the time that we are together and spending that time together, it's most definitely going to be very memorable. Oh, just thinking about it. I could do it. I think it's definitely possible. I feel like I'm one of the ones that could definitely make it work. As long as me and that person have it in an understanding within each other, it's possible.
And I'm also thinking like, okay, you know, typically you always hear when you're in college, you're gonna meet friends all over. You could go home during breaks with them. He wasn't one to have that. Like maybe other couples did, because you know you hear these things. But I was never invited to go Thanksgiving or Christmas break. So if that was there during that, then maybe so. But it was just it seemed like it was drama during that time. Not maybe not from his perspective, but for me it was like, bro, like what the heck is going on? I try to make it work. I try to, you know, send not nasty videos, y'all, because I don't do that. But I mean, like I try to, you know, send voice notes to him or try to do things at the same time so it feels like we're together, especially like during summer breaks, because that's a longer break. But
Mm.
nah, it was just like I'm on break, bro. Girl, that girlfriend stuff could wait till we get back to campus.
You have any highlights from having a relationship while in college?
Every time I think about us in the relationship that we had, not us, me and Moni, me and my boo thing in college, because you know she thought she was my boo too.
Oh my goodness. Girl, continue.
I always think about our second Valentine's Day together, and that was the Valentine's where Moni's boyfriend surprised her and came to Atlanta,
Oh yes,
and
she definitely did.
we went on a double date to Atlantic Station, and we went to Rosa Mexicano because that was my favorite restaurant at that time. For me, that was an awkward date because it was like
It
we were
was.
like it's funny because I was like, oh, I always wanted to have a double date. This is gonna be fun, but it was just like the guys didn't know each other, but the girls we knew each other, and of course my boo knew Simone because he went to school with us. So it was just like we're eating, we're trying to laugh, and it was just like it's kind of feels weird, but
Man, you can't blame that. He was antisocial anyway. Like he was not feeling it. Like yeah,
and then
I'm trying.
after that we went to like that little middle area in the street on Atlantic Station where they got the grass and that little tall thing. I don't know what it's called, but we went there, we were sitting there. We ended up having a quote unquote homemade DIY photo shoot with our cell phones. And then and then after that he was like, so what do you want to do now? I think we were supposed to see a movie or something was scheduled, but we had to wait, and it was like a long wait. So he was like, "You didn't want to go to that thing upstairs, right?" And I tried to play it off. I was like, "What thing?" I kind of knew what he was talking about, but in my head, I'm like, "That's expensive. He's not going to pay for me to go there." And he was like, "That blind people thing," and I was like, "Oh my god!" So it's a place called Dialogue in the Dark where you walk through and you get to experience what it's like to be live the life of a blind person for a day. And it was a great experience. I had a good time. After that, we basically celebrated that whole weekend of Valentine's Day because that was also our anniversary. So like
Mhm,
I
mhm.
cooked for him one night, and then he had a surprise in his dorm room for me. Then another night, it was just really nice. So every time I think back on my favorite highlight with him in college is that weekend, that Valentine's Day / anniversary weekend.
Yeah, that was cute. Aw.
Yeah. What about highlights for you, girl? And not about me, because I know you got like 50,000 memories of me, but I
Girl,
mean,
hush.
with your boo.
Well, my senior year, I came back from the summer engaged. So
Mm.
I came back with a ring on my finger. Mind you, this is not the highlight, y'all. Keep listening. So,
If you like it, then
um,
you should have put a ring on it.
so I came back engaged, and of course, everyone's asking, "Don't you think you're too young to be engaged? Are you sure you want to get married?" I'm like, "No, this is what I want to do. This is the next phase of my life. Blah blah blah, whatever."
Hmm.
I had a guy friend of mine sit down with me to talk to me
Hmm.
and asked me basically to be in a relationship with him and wanted to know if I was happy in the relationship that I was in.
Wait, he saw the ring on your finger and then said it,
He
or
knew. I honestly can't remember if I told him after he asked me or
girl, hold
I
your
can't
head. I see you holding your head like,
because
oh.
I'm thinking about it, but I'm also just like I didn't know what to do. I'm 21. I haven't even been engaged for a full month yet, and this he sits me down and asks me like to try being in a relationship with him, and I'm just like, how can you put this on me now? I literally
Yeah,
just got engaged, and in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm engaged. I need to stay committed to the person that I'm, in a relationship with. When I wanted to try this when I wasn't in a relationship, that's not something you were ready for. Now you too late.
mm. What do you think of that? Like, okay, so like, did that cause any confusion for you, or were you just like, your time is off, I'm already taken, kind of thing?
It was very confusing for me because I honestly wasn't, at one point, I wasn't sure what I would do. I'm like, dang, is he serious? Like, you really want to try to have a relationship with me? I didn't even know that that was something that you were interested in.
Hmm.
Turns out he actually did want one, but by the time he asked, I had already committed myself to another person, and I felt like
Hmm.
wouldn't be right for me to be like, well, I guess I'll take this ring off for a little bit. Let me try this over here for a while and see if this is what I want.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be wishy washy and back and forth like that. Plus, me being naive, I'm thinking like this is the relationship I'm supposed to be in. We've been through so much together. I have this ring for a reason.
Yeah.
Girl, I didn't get a ring back.
I think that's selfish on the other guy's part. Like, you wait, like you had, what was that, 3 years before this, and then all of a sudden did you feel like something was being taken? Like, basically, lesson learned, fellas. If you see a woman who you can see yourself with, or you want to give it a try, don't wait, because there's always somebody else who's gonna snatch that opportunity, see value in it. So don't try to wait, because that's, I don't know. Don't try to do that. That's all I gotta say. Obviously, the cat got my tongue right now, because that's just, girl. All right, Molly. So I have another question for you, which is, if you were able to go back, would you date during college? If so, why? If not, why not?
Would I date? Yes. Would I be in that long distance relationship that I came into college with? Probably not.
Oh, I like how you separated that, because that is a difference. Dating and having a relationship is totally different. All right, so tell me why and why not.
Mostly because of the stress that I was under, but I think it may also partially be the person that I was in a relationship with. I mean, maybe had it been someone else, it may not have felt as I may not have felt as much pressure, but I honestly do feel like we gave it a good effort, especially for our 18 to 22 age range
She
that we were
said
in.
she said they had a good run. Give it some effort. We had a good run.
We did, like, we truly made an effort. Like, we wrote letters sometimes and sent gifts, and then, like, before, he came and he surprised me.
Hmm.
And spent, I think he was there for, I think it was like almost a week.
Yeah.
He was there. He had bought our whole dorm. Like, he filled the whole refrigerator with groceries. Like he really, he really tried. Like, he
Hmm.
really tried to make it work. And I do feel like we genuinely did love each other, which is why I felt like I was ready to get married. Like, we made it through all, like, these different um obstacles with each other. We had our peaks and our valleys, understanding, like, oh well, this is what relationships are, getting through things together, and we made it through all of this. So of course we're supposed to be getting married. But as we grew older, we
Hmm.
started to grow more apart. But yes, back to the question. I would definitely date, because I feel like dating gives you a sense of understanding, like, who you are and who you are trying to find in a person.
Hmm.
um, it just gets to, like, know, like, a different range of guys, because being in college, you get to know people from everywhere, different types
Yeah.
of personalities, and just understanding, like, who you click with and who you don't click with, just things like that. So yes, I would definitely date, but I won't recommend a long distance relationship for starting out in college. Just not my thing.
Yeah, you put the twist on it, because it is a difference between dating and having a relationship in college. So yeah, 100%. I'll still stick to the dating and getting to know people. I think it's important to date, because that's where you learn, or how you learn, what you like about guys and what you dislike about guys and what you want, as far as when it gets time to have a relationship with somebody else. So yes, I'll say the dating part. But as far as the relationship part, it's a two-piece fold for me. I like that I experienced having a relationship with a boyfriend in college, seeing the ups and downs and learning that relationships aren't always sweet. It takes work to make things work with one another. Um, and also, that was my first heartbreak too. So I'm glad that I hate to say it this way, but I'm glad I got it out of the way and experienced it at that young 20s age, opposed to experiencing it for the first time when I'm in my late 20s or 30s or 40s, whenever my next relationship ends up coming with the heartbreak kind of thing. I would like to say, nah, like, I would like to say if I went back to college, I would have just gone through the whole matriculation, just being single, because that would have allowed me to focus on my studies more and had a possibly higher GPA, or maybe done more things. Like, even I've always wanted to study abroad or do just different things in school, but then I thought, I don't want to be away from my boyfriend. I don't want to be away from my friends, like things like that. So maybe if I was single, I would have had less restriction on my mind. But then just keeping it a buck, I still being in the back of my mind, because I'm such a lover for love. So I still would have been wanting to have a relationship too. So yeah, like, it would have been cool to be single through the whole ride and just not focus on that. But if it wasn't him, it probably would have been somebody else being my boyfriend. Because I was dating other people. It's just I just had my eyes stuck on him. So
You know what they say? Had I known then what I know now. Because now I'm like, I'm single until I'm married.
I mean, that's what the Bible says. I say that every time you say that too.
But I didn't know that then. I did not know that then. I probably didn't know that until I was like 25, that I
Hmm.
actually heard that. And I was like, you know what? That makes sense. You're right. Had
Hmm.
I known that then, I literally wouldn't have stressed as much as I did because I'm like, look, we not married yet. So until we are, let's just date and see what happens. But hey, here we are now,
Hey,
X amount of years later.
X amount of years.
All right. You ready to go ahead and stroll on over to Suite 223?
Let's do it, girl. Okay, everybody, we're going to slide into Suite 223, which is LoveLoudd's Poetic Suite. I'm going to be reciting a poem, an original piece by Yanique Love, which is myself, of course. This poem is entitled Insight. May I inform you of how I feel and you not disappear? The only reason that I hold them in is simply due to fear. Because over the years to this point, I've been kind of near, though the sight of love in a distance introduced some type of scare. I have been told several times before that I'm the married type, and that any man who gets his hands on me should be hella hype. But when I get that bug in my ear, it introduces fright, because it's taught me to believe that I'm not his beauty in sight. So what's a lady to do when she's used to such news? When she wants you to know what's up, but for you to get it misconstrued? For something that seems so perfect to lead you to being perplexed. And me feeling left in the nude, confused, simply because you can't handle the news that I really got a thing for you.
Yes, snap it up, y'all. Clap it up if you wish. Love it, love it, love it. And you already
Thanks,
know the
Dow.
question that's coming next, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
What inspired you to write Insight?
So for this poem, I would say that I had several muses, not just one muse, but several. And I'll just give a shout out to all the people who I started to date, gave a chance to get to know them, and then I feel like when guys feel like you're starting to get closer to them and that they no longer have to do that pursuing chase thing, they start to kind of fall back. So for me, having experienced that in the past, it kind of made me fall back on being open and letting people know how I feel about them. Like, oh, I really
Mm,
like you, or texting them first good morning, or wanting to see them, because in my past it made me feel like, or I've experienced that when I start to do that, they start to fall back more and do less of the chasing. So this poem is inspired by me seeing myself liking somebody in the future, and basically asking, is it okay for me to be genuine and let you know how I feel without you having to scare me away from it? Is it okay if I let you know all these things that I'm thinking and you not be afraid or say, oh, yo, she on me right now? Like, is it okay if I be on you? Because I feel like you on me. So that's where that poem comes from.
Girl, you would think too, like, just be honest with me. Like, if I'm telling you how I feel about you and you don't feel the same way, just be honest. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to help in the long run because you're giving me this false perception of what I think is real
Mm-hmm.
when deep down you don't have any intentions of being with me past the next week. So sometimes
That
I've
part.
never I've never understood why some guys couldn't grasp the concept of just being honest. Even though some guys are, and then some women just can't grasp the concept like, nah, boo, he don't want you.
Yeah.
But on the flip side too, it's people say it's like communication is important. I think communication is important, but it's also comprehension. Because if you tell me something and I don't understand it, that's a totally different thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
if someone doesn't understand what you're telling them, you have a whole whirlwind of problems. So communication is one thing, but comprehension is definitely at the top. So we have to find different ways to communicate with one another. People understand things differently.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that seemed like a nice little segue.
It is. It is. And this is what I was trying to refrain from earlier, because I was like, we're going to talk about that a little later. But you ready to get into it?
Yes, come on, let's get to these hot topics, girl.
Hot topics. All right, so today's hot topic, we are talking love languages. The ideology of love languages comes from a guy named Gary Chapman. He wrote several books on the five love languages and how you can learn to connect with your lover or other people in life. The five love languages include words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving or giving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So this is the hot topic of today. All right, Moni, are you ready?
Yes, I am ready. Girl, I was born ready. What's up?
Because you a star, girl. You a star. All right. What are your top three love languages, and how did you learn what they are?
My top three are words of affirmation at 29%,
Mm-hmm.
acts of service at 26%, and quality time at 23%. I
Okay.
found out about each of them on the Five Love Language website where it asks me a bunch of different questions to help me differentiate whether, I liked physical touch or a gift more than the other. So basically, you choose between the two things. So whichever one I preferred more, I chose that one. And then in the end, it was those top three.
Okay. Words of affirmation. I never knew that about you. How did you like? Do you feel like that quiz was spot on, or do you feel like it's trash?
I feel like it was spot on because I like to feel appreciated. I help people a lot. Even though I do it out of the kindness of my heart, it doesn't hurt to get a thank you or someone to let me know that I am appreciated for something that I did, or just someone just letting me know that they love me. I don't know. I definitely think it's connected to me helping others. But at the end of the day, it doesn't hurt to know that I am loved, I'm appreciated, that I'm seen. Like you letting me know that I'm seen. Like you're doing a great job, or even a congratulations, because I feel like oftentimes I think it may be related to me growing up as a kid, probably because I've always been pushed to like do my best. So in doing my best, I want to make sure like, hey, was this my best?
You need confirmation, like verbal confirmation that you're doing good.
Yeah, I think it probably may stem from that, like from being a child, and needing to know like, okay, great job, you did great, and being pushed like to be my best self. Because sometimes I feel like I may fall short in regards to being my best self, but other people might see what I don't. So being able to hear that, it's like, okay, I'm being too hard on myself. I'm good.
Okay. So if you help
um,
somebody clean their room and they just give you a hug and a kiss on the forehead, for you that's not enough. You need to hear verbally, thank you for taking the time out to help me.
no, I don't necessarily think it's that either. Because people could argue that actions speak louder than words. So, like giving a hug and a kiss is still someone showing their appreciation.
Yeah, but for you,
Um,
your love language, your top one is words of affirmation.
yeah, but I also like hugs, so I wouldn't not like receiving a hug from someone.
Okay, 3% physical touch.
Yes, but that's just in regards to hugs. I think in regards to relationships, it's like the physical touch portion. Like, because I give people hugs all the time. I don't dislike giving hugs. But yeah, I think for words of affirmation, I don't know. Because I don't even want to say it's in regards to validation. So I guess it's like it's a toss up and it's hard to say.
That's weird because, okay, so when I think words of affirmation, I think of a person who wants to hear "I love you," wants to hear "I appreciate you," wants to hear "thank you." Those times, and it doesn't mean all of the time, but that's your number one thing of somebody knowing that somebody loves and appreciates you or cares of you. That makes you feel loved. So just hearing those small words or talking to them or whatever is what validates those things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what it means. I don't know. Maybe I'm just confusing myself, but I mean, I guess it's because I would prefer someone to tell me, but I guess I don't need them to, I guess, if that makes sense.
If you had guy A and guy B, I'm guessing based off of this and based off of Gary Chapman's ideology is that if guy A did more words of affirmation and guy B did more of giving you gifts and smacking you on your booty, you would probably lean towards liking and wanting to be with the guy who does more of that words of affirmation and active service for you, opposed to a guy who's only giving you something that you say you need 19% of and 3% of. That's the way I'm looking at it, based off of Gary Chapman's.
Well, yeah, shoot, hype me up. Let me
So
know that you with
that's
me.
when it
Like,
matters. That's when it matters.
yeah, like I want you to hype. I want to feel that fire. Like I want you, like, girl, you got this. What you talking about, girl? You, I I want to feel
I
like
want to feel that fire.
that's what I'm like. That's what I want to feel. Like I want you to tell me. Like I want you to tell me that you got me. And when you say it, I want you to mean it. Like I don't want you to just tell me something just because it sound good. I want
Tell
you to tell me
me what you
because
want. All right, so my love languages are quality time coming in at 30%, physical touch at 27%, and words of affirmation at 20%. My quiz this time, because I take these quizzes on and off to see if it's going to change. So I guess that's the where did I learn it from. I took the quiz just like Moni did. And it's always consistent. But this time it only told me my top three. So I don't think it's trash at all. It's definitely, for me, spot on. I love quality time. For me, you can say that you're thinking about me, that you care about me, or send a text here and there, but nothing means more than to be physically in the same space with the person that I care about and love, especially undisturbed. Like if we're in the same spot, just like we could be chilling and it's dead silent with the TV on or just cuddling. Like to me, that means so much. It makes me feel so special. Like you took the time to put everything else aside and you're showing me that I matter right now. So that means a lot to me. Um, the second one, physical touch. My girlfriends know you, Lamade, Etlin. I'll tell y'all, I love a booty rub. Like I love a good booty rub, or like somebody like giving that good embrace. Not the church hug, not that one, just the right arm little choke hug kind of, but the one that you like held you so tight you feel secure kind of hug, and then you kind of, I like to be picked up because I'm little, so like when they lift you off the ground, like hug like that makes me feel so good. Aside from that kind of physical touch, if I'm crying or if I'm upset, just like a gentle touch on my back or somebody putting their hand on my knee, it makes me feel like I'm secure or I'm not alone, like that you care about me, opposed to somebody just sitting there twiddling their thumbs like, yeah, she's crying, I'm just gonna sit here and pass her a tissue. Like I will feel more loved and care about if somebody put their arm on my back or rub it, console me, to help me like calm down. And the third one is 20%, but words of affirmation kind of does do it for me, to remind me that I am beautiful, to remind me that, yeah, I'm away right now, but I am thinking about you. I do care about you. I've never really received gifts from anybody, because what I'm thinking is somebody can say, go out shopping and pick up something for me. Like, yeah, that lets me know that you cared about me, but this sounds crazy, but did you pick up something for the other girl too? Like, so for me, whereas like affirm with me that you care about me, that you love me, that you were thinking about me. So yeah, those are my top three: quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation.
when you first asked me, I was literally trying to generalize it in regards to all people, not in a relationship with a guy. So
Uh,
that's why I was like, I don't necessarily need someone to tell me thank you, but it would be preferred because I help people all the time.
mm-hmm,
But like in a relationship, like you said, I want you to let me know that I'm beautiful and that you love me and that you care about me and that you appreciate the things that I do, because I will most definitely go above and beyond and out of my way for the person, that I'm in a relationship with. Because,
yeah,
like I said before, I don't want anybody to tell me what they think that I want to hear. It's important for you to say what you mean and mean what you say. That's why I feel like words of affirmation are at the
the
top
top.
for me. I mean, I like it's this, and it's also like a part of like communication and talking
Mm-hmm,
and just letting me know how you really feel. Which is why I also think like quality time is close in range with an acts of service too,
mm-hmm,
because there's a lot that you can communicate in regards to quality time just by being around one another or doing something for one another that doesn't even necessarily have to do with like buying a gift, which is why I think buying a gift and physical touch is at the bottom, because I can just enjoy being around you,
yeah,
sitting in silence. As long as I'm with you and near you and we're just watching TV or something like that, I'm down with that.
mm-hmm,
Or helping me out with something that I really need help with, and you taking your time out to help me do something that you see that I'm struggling with,
Mm-hmm.
because I would do the same thing for someone else.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a segue to skip the next question and go to number 3, because you said that when you were thinking of it, you were thinking of romantic relationships, but love languages,
No, I wasn't thinking of romantic relationships at first.
okay, you weren't thinking of them. So with number 3, it's asking, are love languages important in non-romantic relationships? And for me, with my top 3, quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation, that matters for everybody. That matters with Simone. That matters for the other ladies that I just said. That matters with my mom. That matters for everybody. My mom could be watching TV and just me sitting up around her, it makes my day. Like, it makes me feel happy. The same thing about when I said about crying and stuff. That goes for non-romantic or romantic. Words of affirmation, hearing that from my family, that matters too. Or when you say "I love you, girl" when you get off the phone, sometimes that like makes me feel happy too. So it's not just for romantic or non-romantic. I think those are my love languages across the board. And it's also important to let other people know that these are our love languages so that they can learn how to love us appropriately, because they may be buying me all these gifts, but to me, quote unquote, is not enough because you're not giving me what it is that I need to feel loved by you. So just with going with the book, I wanted to read a quote that was in there that stood out to me in chapter 9, which is, love is not an island of emotion, but rather an attitude that corresponds with appropriate behaviors. Love is the attitude that says, I choose to look out for your interest. How may I serve you? Then love responds with meaningful, positive behavior. So that's a quote from Gary Chapman's book in chapter 9, saying, I need you to tell me how you want to be loved, so then I can abide by it accordingly. So I believe our love may serve no purpose if the person we buy gifts for, or doing favors for, or saying affirming words to are countless if that person needs a hug or just to have their hand held.
I agree. And then also to add to what you were saying, like in regards to doing my research on what love languages are,
Mm-hmm.
you could share the same love language with someone, but your dialect could be different.
Mm.
In the way that you want that love language. Stop it. The way that you want that love language to serve you. So let's just say you and I, and as far as like acts of service,
Mm-hmm.
you may enjoy like someone washing the dishes or washing the clothes to help you out. But for me, it may be just making sure that, wash my car from time to time.
Put some
Like, I
gas
don't
in
care
my
about
car.
you, right? Put some gas in my car or go buy the groceries sometimes. I'm not too much worried about the housework. I can get that done.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you're like doing, like I'm feeding your love language, but you're not feeding the right part of it, or you're not speaking the dialect of the love language that serves me. So
Right.
that's important also for both romantic and friendships as well.
I think it's also important. What I hear the undertone of you saying is that we should not just go by assuming, but maybe we should just have a conversation and ask what the person needs. Like, I know my friend Etlin, whenever I'm crying or I'm talking about something that has me in distress, she'll ask me, is it okay to hug you right now? Like, I feel like I want to hug you, but is it okay? Do you need a hug? Do you want to just sit in silence? Do you want to talk about it? Like, what is it that you need? Because yeah, she wants to reach out and grab me and hug me because she sees me hurt, but it matters more in that moment what it is that I need. So I could be sitting here for Simone. I could be sitting here and saying, oh my God, like I got this long list of things that I need to do in a short amount of time. And I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, it's stressing me out, girl. Da, da, da. Simone could randomly go buy the seeds and the soil that I need for my garden. But that could have been the top thing that I really wanted to do for myself. So it could be feasible or nice if Simone says, okay, do you want me to help you tackle some of these things? But then somebody else might say, oh, I love that Simone just surprised me and just did this. So kind of get to know your partner and have those open dialects of what it is that they will appreciate. Because then you could be doing all these things, like whether it's asking or whether it's doing it without asking. And it could be a trigger of somebody that they dated before that they went along and did these things. So basically, you never know. Like, you can't judge somebody by what they look like or what you just assume. Just feel free to have open dialogue with people.
Right. That's definitely important.
Yes, girl, it is, girl. I like seeing the smile on your face. That makes me feel like you appreciate me.
Girl, this was quality time.
Yes, this is quality time. I love it. I love it. All right. So, right now you are speaking one of my love languages, which is quality time. Do you feel like you are able to speak love languages of those people that you love, specifically your significant other?
I think I am now because for a while I never knew what love languages were, and I feel like it could have helped me more
Mm-hmm.
had I known them in the past. But now that I understand what they are, I understand why some of the relationships I tried to have didn't work or probably would have never worked
Mm-hmm.
for people that weren't willing to actually feed into what my love language actually was. But then I also realized that those that were feeding into my love language were actually abusing it
Mm.
because they were telling me what I wanted to hear, like
I
abusing
hate
the
that.
words I love you, like
Mm-hmm.
just saying I love you to receive something in return.
Word.
Like you're just saying it, but your actions aren't coinciding with what's coming out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important in that regard to understand what the love language is, but not abuse it and to try to use it to your advantage. Oh, I'm just gonna do this so I can get this back.
Mm-hmm. That's when people
That's
be
not
get when people be taking your blueprint and just doing what.
right.
Yeah, we had that conversation. I know what you mean,
That's,
girl. You see my
that
face
is
right now.
not what the love language is for. Like, don't buy me a gift because you want me to cook dinner.
Mm.
Like, no, don't purposely ignore me, knowing that my love language is words of affirmation and not speaking to me because you know that's going to hurt me. Like, don't do things like that.
Where
Like, it's not okay, especially when you do it intentionally. Like, you, of course, you can unintentionally hurt someone, but when you do it just to make sure that you're getting something that you want in return and abusing someone's love language, that's not cool.
that's not cool. Yeah, that's not cool. I always got a song. So I've been single for a long time, so I'm not sure. Like, I would like to say that I can be successful in speaking my lover's love language, but that's nothing that I can feel confident about saying now because it's been a long time. I should have left you. Sorry, I told you I always got a song. So with me right now, I think it was actually last month. I was like, we're starting to date people now. I'm interested in giving them this test so I can find out what their love languages are, so I can start off on the right foot and um, learn to speak them. And if I can't speak them, then I don't know if that's grounds for separation or if I should just put more effort into learning those. I guess it depends on my
Mhm.
vibe or how I connect with that person. So I did go out. I guess it was a quarantine date because if it was regular times, I wouldn't have called it a date. Uh, but it was a quarantine date. I went out to meet with this guy, and we were talking about old relationships and things like that. Per him, I didn't bring it up. He started talking about it, and then I forget how it segued into talking about how we feel appreciated, but he was saying that he's basically like acts of service. He likes when people do things for him or whatever. And I was like, you know what? Let's find out what your love languages really are. Have you ever taken a test? And he was like, no. I was like, would you like to take the test now? He's like, yeah, let's do it. So we took the test, and it was really nice. Like, just foreshadowing before this ever happened and before thinking it would be him. I was like, would that be awkward? Like, would that be an awkward situation to put a guy in? But he was really down for it. He enjoyed it. He was like, really like, let me think about this question. Da, da, da. So it made our date, our quarantine date, kind of enjoyable. And then at the same time, I was learning about him and he got to learn about me in that instance. So yeah, I don't know what it's going to be like until I give it a try to speak that person's love language. But it's not something that I'm shut off to because it has to be reciprocated. Like, if I want you to not just buy me gifts because you think your old girlfriends they loved those gifts, like, you know, learn how to speak it to me, or we may not work out.
Right. Plus, like I had said before, like it's more than just communication. It's also comprehension and understanding like why this is my love language and why these don't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could just be trying to buy me a gift to try to like to keep from actually talking to me. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I just give her a gift and that'll be done with it. She'll be happy. No, I'm not happy. I need you to talk to me, or I need you to come sit next to me, or I need you to hug me. I don't want you to just give me this bag. Like, no, can you take this back? Do
Mm-hmm.
you still have the receipt?
Yep. Or
I
it's in the
don't even
back of my
want it.
closet.
Like, that's not something I asked you for. Like, I had a guy that I was I guess dating at some point, and he will always want to buy me stuff, and I'll be like, no, you don't have to do that. He bought me like jackets and shoes, just buy me stuff just to buy me stuff.
And
And
you
I'm like,
love shoes.
I love shoes, girl, too many to count. And I'm like, you don't need to buy me these things. But then this is also the same person that was like, oh, I love you, I love you, I love you, but didn't even really love me. And I'm like, dude, just because you buy me gifts does not mean that you love me. Like, you don't have to tell me that. Don't use those three words and try to make it seem as if you feel a way that you don't.
Or did he love you and you just didn't hear it because he wasn't speaking your love language? That's like people, like you and I speak English and comprehend English. And I could comprehend a little bit of Spanish. But if somebody come in here speaking Chinese to us, we won't understand it. We're not going to grasp it because we don't comprehend that language, nor do we speak it. So they may be saying all these things to us, but it's not going to get to us because you're not speaking to me the way I need you to speak to me. So I don't know this guy or anything, but somebody in the future or him now, they could genuinely feel that way. But because y'all aren't speaking the same language or on the same playing field, it's not reciprocated.
You know what? I take that back. I'm not going to say he didn't love me. I'm going to say he wasn't in love with me. That's what I'm
Okay.
going to say. I'm not going to say that he didn't love me, because I had love for him also. It was just to the point where it was just like, I know what you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to be in a relationship with me, so you don't have to keep trying to tell me, because I know you have no intentions of taking this any farther than where we are right now.
Well, that's a specific situation. All right, so we're talking about love languages with everybody else, but um, I'm not going to give him 100% credit because I did know this before he said it. But I was at my aunt's house. She had a barbecue, and I was talking about dating. I showed my dating profiles to my cousin Ronald, and he was like, "No, you need to change that. You need to change that. Like, you're too forward on your profile. Like, just make it fun. Think about fun." And I was like, "But this, but that, whatever." And the question that he asked me that stood out to me was, you want to be loved and cared for by people, but when do you actually use the love languages that you know that you like to receive from others to cater to yourself? So the question that I have for you is that same thing. How do you use your own love languages to cater to yourself, if you do at all?
So for words of affirmation, great question, by the way.
Thank you. I'll tell Ronald. I'll give him semi credit for that.
For words of affirmation, I definitely love positive affirmations.
Yeah,
Like I
you
said,
do.
I like to be hyped up, never give up, you got this. Like, do what you need to do, believe in yourself more, give yourself more credit. Just things to keep myself going. So I'm like, to keep myself in the mindset, like, all right, you good. Everything will be fine. Like, it's most definitely positive affirmations. For quality time, I love sending gifts to my friends, especially those that I don't get to see all the time. All
Why
my
don't you
friends
get
are
to
all
see
over the
us?
place.
Exactly.
They all
We got long distance relationships going on here.
So I love, love, love sending gifts. That's like a great way to equate for quality time for people that you don't get to see all the time, or video chatting. I definitely love a long video chat or a long conversation on the phone. Like, if I don't talk to a friend in a while and we end up talking, we're most definitely going to talk for more than an hour,
Yeah.
probably close to two if we have the time. But we're most definitely going to hit at least an hour
Hmm.
of talking on the phone. So I definitely love that for quality time. And then as far as acts of service, like I said, I love helping people when I am able, whether that's like surprising somebody with some money, because I know that they can use it.
Hmm.
Um, and I think in regards to like catering to myself a little more, I want to try to allow myself to be more open to people when they ask me. if I need help with something, opposed to being more adamant about doing it myself. Because I think sometimes I get so caught up in like, yeah, I want them to help me, but what if they don't do it the way that I want them to do it?
Girl, that's me. That's
So
me,
it's
bro.
just, I should, in regards to catering to myself and letting go of some of that stress, I should be more open to allowing people when they ask to actually help me. Say like, no, 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 I got it. And I'm like, girl, no, you don't got it. You know, you need somebody to help you. But the fact that they even asked me, I'm like, thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But actually, like taking them up on their offer, like, be open to that, girl. Be open. What about you? How do you cater to you?
Yeah, Beyonce. Okay, for me, when he asked me that question and prior to, because he can't get all the credit, I just thought about myself, like, I love having quality time by myself. Like, my door closed, my phone off, like, even if I'm playing my little video games on my phone, just not texting anybody or not answering phone calls, just quality time to myself. It
Yes.
just makes me feel good. That can also look, because I said in my room, but that can also look like me going for a long car ride. Like yesterday, I was texting Sam. She was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm at Trader Joe's again, like twice in the same week, spending mad money." But it was because I was bored and I just wanted to like get out there and just do something for myself. So like just being in the car alone for me yesterday, it just felt so good. Going to get a mani pedi and having my music on, like just treating myself. I mean, they touching my feet, but I
Hmm.
wasn't thinking about that. I meant just like being on my own. And then the two things that I learned within the last 2 years was it the last 2 years or last 3-ish years, was learning to go. It's okay to go to the movie theater by myself. Like when prior to I was so scared, like, bro, I'm about to look so corny to people. It's not about to be fun because I'm gonna be laughing by myself. Like, who does that? Or even out to eat by myself. Like, who does that? It's about to be couples there. It's about to be families there, and I'm here by myself. And I tried it, and it was so much fun. Like, I think the first movie I went to see by myself was Black Panther. And then after that, I went to see another movie by myself. And then after that, I went to see another movie by myself. And it was just so great. And then when I went out to eat, I got to sit there as long as I wanted to. I got to look at the menu and choose something that I wanted, opposed to like, what you about to get? Let me look at the price range. Okay,
Yeah, I love a
he
solo
about to
date.
get something that costs around this range, so I got to get something that's in that range too or less. No, like a solo date is perfect. It just felt good. And then lastly would be just cuddling in my blanket on my couch and watching watching a podcast, listening to a podcast or watching TV. Just, I can't say 100% that I'm a lonesome introverted person, but when I'm alone, I enjoy being alone and having quality time to myself. But when I'm with other
That's right
people,
here.
I enjoy that too. So a good balance is
Yeah.
good.
Yes, and you definitely should have a good balance of both because you
Hmm.
shouldn't always have to feel as if you got to have somebody around. You got to learn how to be by yourself sometimes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are learning that during quarantine too. Like people that's living with other people is like, I heard somebody say that they took a longer walk to the grocery store, even though it's a straight shot from their house to the grocery store. They walked around the block like 3 times and then went to the grocery store before coming home because during this quarantine, you stuck in quote unquote stuck in the house with this person. Like it's good to have, like you said, a good balance. You need that
Hmm.
significant other or family time, but then you also need a break. But yeah, girl, that's how I catered to myself.
That's how you cater to you.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into our next thingy, majiggy, a wiggy.
All right, y'all. So usually in this section, we'll be giving you a scenario or letter from one of our listeners. But today we are going to be taking the time to break down how to speak your spouse's love language. And I'm going to start with words of affirmation. So this is how you communicate: encourage, affirm, appreciate, empathize, and listen actively. Actions you can take: send an unexpected note, a text, a card, encourage genuinely and often. And things to avoid: non constructive criticism, not recognizing or appreciating effort.
Next up is physical touch. How to communicate. Nonverbal use of body language and touch to emphasize love. Actions to take may include hugging, kissing, holding hands, showing physical affection regularly. Make intimacy a thoughtful priority. And remember, intimacy does not only mean sex. Things to avoid: physical neglect, long stinks without intimacy, or receiving affection coldly. Like, don't hug me, don't touch me if you don't really mean it, bro. Do it from the bottom of your heart.
Yes, always from the bottom of the heart. Next up is receiving gifts. How to communicate thoughtfulness. Make your spouse a priority. Speak purposefully. Actions to take: give thoughtful gifts and gestures. Small things matter in a big way. Express gratitude when receiving a gift. Also, I'd like to add that handmade things,
Oh
you
yes,
know, you know what I'm
DIY.
saying? Sometimes it's the small things that count. You don't have to think extravagant.
Yes.
You don't have to think extravagant. Think about your first date, or think about, like, include their favorite color, like a bag full of a bunch of stuff that's their favorite color. Like, just
Mm-hmm.
simple stuff that you can get from the dollar store. Like,
Girl.
small, simple things. All right. And things to avoid: forgetting special
Mm.
occasions, and unenthusiastic gift receiving. Don't just be giving a gift just to be giving a gift. Like, here, there you go. Like, oof. Don't give me a gift just because it's Valentine's Day. I'm not even a big Valentine's Day person, but I'm just saying that might be somebody's thing. Like, don't just do it just to do it.
Yeah, I can't imagine, because I've never had this happen, but I can't imagine somebody forgetting my birthday or forgetting our anniversary. Like, I can't imagine that. But I'm the same way. Just because gifts. Well, I said I'm not a gift person, but when somebody does something, just because we're going on a date, just because I brought you this flower bouquet, just because, not because it's a holiday or Valentine's Day or anything like that, but just because. So that makes it more thoughtful.
Yeah.
All right. Up next is quality time. How to communicate uninterrupted and focused conversations. Don't be texting. Don't be looking on Twitter and Instagram when you're with me. Don't be watching sports or your favorite other stuff and be like, yeah, 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 and then push me out the way. Like, no, uninterrupted. But if I like the sports too, or if I'm okay with it, then yeah. Like, if there's no talking, that's fine. Also, one-on-one time is critical. So you can have double dates or things like that, but what makes it more special if it's one-on-one, no interrupted, or like having to focus, spread your attention to other people. Actions to take: create special moments together, take walks, and do small things with your spouse. Weekend getaways are huge. It gives you time to be somewhere that's uninterrupted, especially if you have other family members or other people or other priorities to take care of. Just separating yourself from your norm can give you that space,
Yeah. If you
your
have the time to
quality.
do that once a month, that
That would be
that would
nice.
be nice.
And it doesn't even mean like a resort or out of the country or anything like that. Like, I remember my mom told me when my parents were younger, they would get a hotel room, not like little kids younger. I mean, like when they were in their young 20s or whatever.
Young adults.
Yeah, thank you, young adults. They would get a hotel room together somewhere, maybe PA or somewhere in Jersey, just to get away, and that's how they spent quality time with one another, because it avoids, which is next, distractions when spending time together. Long stints without one-on-one time can be something that you don't want to do too. So just make sure that you have a balance in when you can give quality time to one another.
Mm-hmm. All righty. And last but not least is acts of service. So how to communicate that? Use action phrases like "I'll help." They want to know you're with them, partnered with them. Even if they don't want it, like somebody like me, still offer it. They'll they'll appreciate it. I mean, sometimes you might just have to take the bag of groceries out of my hand, just like,
Yeah,
girl, give me that. I got this.
I'd be like, oh, he's chivalrous. You
Oh goodness.
chivalrous.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Um, actions to take: do chores together or make them breakfast in bed. Go out of your way to help alleviate their daily workload. If you surprise me by cleaning up the house, ooh, baby.
I think that's good
Oh my
though. I think
gosh.
that's
Oh
good
my gosh.
because, like, when you were talking about the whole chores and cleaning the house earlier, I'm the kind of person, like, I think the 50-50. I know some of our viewers or listeners have different perspectives, but this is mine. You use the dishes too. You got clothes too. Like, it's not solely my responsibility to clean. Like, you can even make it a fun thing. Turn on the music, turn on a game, do something that's fun. Like, let's dance around the house while we cleaning up. Like, it ain't got to be boring and
Exactly.
dry.
And things to avoid: making the request of others a higher priority. Whew. Lacking follow through on tasks, big and small. Like, if you're going to do it, don't just, like I said, don't just say it just to say it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
follow through and get it done.
Get
Like,
it
there's no need to
done.
offer your help if you don't really want to do it.
Don't.
Uh, and as far as like being in a relationship, your spouse should be first. I mean, unless y'all have kids, but for the most part, like, your spouse will be first. So make sure you're making sure that their needs are taken care of, and
Mm-hmm.
making sure that they're good
Yeah.
first.
Yes, girl. So we want to give credit to graphic by fiercemarriage.com. Sorry, this graphic was created by fiercemarriage.com. But all of these principles and how to communicate, actions to take, and things to avoid all comes from Dr. Gary Chapman. So thank you, Dr. Gary. All right, now we're going to get into our announcements. Moni?
Alrighty, y'all. So please make sure you subscribe to our website. We are talking about love languages. So in regards to giving yourself some self-love, we have a self-love journal entitled Note to Self that you can download for free as long as you subscribe to our website. They have prompts in there to help you write some journal entries just to keep your mind from wandering into a place that you may not want to go. Let's just keep our brains on a positive drive. So subscribe to the website. You'll be able to download that for free.
Okay, our next announcement is our August question of the month. So for our question of the month, we are asking, if you could give advice to your 16-year-old self, what would you say? We'll be posting this question of the month here and there on our Instagram page, which is LoveLoudd LLC. And of course, we always have a giveaway. So if you follow us, you'll find out what that giveaway is. And then if you answer on our Truth Carpet section on our website, you will be entered to win the prize.
All right, y'all. And every single Wednesday, we have our Vibes Battle where me and Yaya battle it out for the best music that vibes with the quote for that day. So if you follow us on Instagram, on our story, we always have our quotes, and I'll have a song playing and Yaya will have a song playing. Whichever one you feel better vibes with that quote, the winner is added to our Spotify playlist. So if you do have Spotify, please follow our playlist, LoveLoudd Vibes, and join in on adding the songs to the playlist. Y'all have to vote. Y'all votes create the playlist.
Yes,
let us know what y'all think. Y'all can listen to that playlist while y'all doing these extra services around the house.
Let them know. You know, I was listening to it while I was I think I was cooking or something. I was like, yo, these are some good jams. I was enjoying it. So shout out to the people who have been voting. Shout out to people who have been subscribing and sharing our podcast, everything, buying the books, buying our merchandise. We appreciate everybody who has been giving LoveLoudd some love.
Yes, L.O.V.E.
Yeah, that, you know, supporting us, that's our love language. We feel loved by all of the support that people are giving us. Yes, thank you so much. And lastly, we want to ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will be posting more videos, and we have been posting different videos, whether it's responses to our question of the month, our podcast for those who can't access Spotify or Anchor right now, and different silly videos. So just enjoy. Make sure you subscribe, like, and if you enjoy what you're watching, enjoy what you're hearing, make sure that you share with a friend so they can share with their friends and their friends and their friends.
That's right.
Yes, that's right. And that's all we have for you today. This was fun, Moni, talking about.
Yeah, I really like this one.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the truth. I was nervous. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say about this relationship that I done had. But, you know, it was nice talking about it with you. And I know that, you know, I experienced your dating life and you experienced mine, meaning that we were both there with one another while we were going through these things. And yeah, this was really good. I'm excited for the people to hear this.
Right.
So,
until next time,
we will speak with y'all later. Bye.
Peace out.